Hello friends, welcome to my YouTube channel. We are talking about glycolysis. Up till now we had seen some initial steps of glycolysis, that is from glucose we'll get glucose 6 phosphate to fructose 6 phosphate, and fructose 6 phosphate then will convert to fructose 1,6 bisphosphate. Yeah, so you can see in my previous lectures how from the glucose to starting from the glucose up to this step, you can see in my previous lectures all the enzymes involved and the regulation of that. Okay, up till now from the glucose to fructose 1,6 bisphosphate, it is a 6 carbon compound. Okay, once the fructose 1,6 bisphosphate will form, it will split into two compound, which is a 3 carbon compound, right? So this is a splitting phase. Fructose 1,6 bisphosphate, it is a 6 carbon compound. One enzyme will come here. The name of enzyme is aldolase. These aldolase enzymes will cut fructose 1,6 bisphosphate into exactly half. So we will get two 3 carbon compound. The one is glyceraldehyde 3 phosphate and the other is a DHAP. So the name of funny guy is dihydroxyacetone phosphate. Okay, glyceraldehyde 3 phosphate, that is also 3 carbon compound, and dihydroxyacetone phosphate, this is also 3 carbon compound. Okay, under natural biological conditions, these two products are interconvertible. This is aldolase, this is aldose and this is ketose. Okay, so these two forms are interconvertible. Enzyme involved here is triose phosphate isomerase. Why triose? Because it is a 3 carbon compound. 3 carbon compound, so triose having phosphate group and isomerization takes place. So very easy to remember, the name of enzyme is triose phosphate isomerase. 3 carbon compound having the phosphate groups, these are interconvertible, therefore triose phosphate isomerase. Okay, this compound, which is a glyceraldehyde 3 phosphate, this is the one that will further undergo into the glycolysis process. Okay, and what about this? This will convert to glyceraldehyde 3 phosphate and then the same process will take place till the pyruvate. So only the difference here is this will directly undergo into the further glycolysis process, and dihydroxyacetone phosphate will first convert to glyceraldehyde 3 phosphate and then the same reaction will takes place from both the side. Okay, from glyceraldehyde 3 phosphate to pyruvate, and here also the glyceraldehyde 3 phosphate to pyruvate. Only the difference is that first this will convert to glyceraldehyde 3 phosphate. So we will just focus here and consider that whatever the products are we are getting, we will multiply it by 2. Okay, now we will keep this here for our understanding. Okay, glyceraldehyde 3 phosphate, here is the one important step will come. Glyceraldehyde 3 phosphate will convert to 1,3 bisphosphoglycerate. Okay, 1,3 bisphosphoglycerate. Glyceraldehyde 3 phosphate is aldehyde and this is acid. Okay, so aldehyde is oxidized into acid. So oxidation reaction taking place. If something is oxidized, so someone has to reduce. Okay, so the substance which is reducing here is NAD. So one molecule of NAD will convert to NADH plus H positive ion. Okay, reduction means the gain of electron or gain of hydrogen atom. Okay, so this is oxidizing glyceraldehyde 3-phosphate is oxidizing to acid 1,3-bis-phosphoglycerate. So that means oxidizing means loss of electron, and that electron will be gained by NAD and form the NADH plus H positive. One inorganic phosphate will add here at the first positions, because already we are having the, see, this is a 3-carbon compound, glyceraldehyde 3-phosphate, which is having the phosphate group at third position. So already we are having the phosphate group at third positions. Now one more phosphate group will add here at the first position. So name of the compound is 1,3-bis-phospho. Bis we had already discussed. Why bis? Because the carbon atoms where the phosphate group are attached, they are separated. So S is for separation. Otherwise, if carbon would have been adjacent to each other, so then it would known as a biphosphate. Okay, 1,3-bis-phosphoglycerate, and the enzyme involved here is glyceraldehyde 3-phosphate dehydrogenase. We'll write in a very short form here, glyceraldehyde 3-phosphate dehydrogenase. Okay, so it is like after doing the 1 month of the work at a certain company, and the employee is getting the salary in the form of check. So here we are first check will come here. It is in the form of the energy. We all know that this NADH then further will enter into electron transport chain, and from the 1 molecule of NADH we will get the 3 ATP. So total 2 molecule will come, because same reaction will take place. So here we will get 2 NADH, and when this NADH will enter into electron transport chain, so we will get the 6 ATP. So here, after the initial step of phosphorylation, isomerization, and again phosphorylation, then the splitting, so much work we have to do, and after that we will get the check. Yeah, we will get the energy in the form of check, which we will encash in the bank named as the electron transport chain. Okay, this is known as the oxidative phosphorylation, where NADH will enter into electron transport chain, and in the presence of oxygen we will get the energy that is known as a oxidative phosphorylation. After that, the ATP will get, that is a substrate level phosphorylation. We will see how. 1,3-bis-phosphoglycerate. Yeah, see here, 1 phosphate group, 2 phosphate group, and the same compound will also present here. So like a good businessman who is always up to, he will look from where we can get our profit. So like we can, if we cut this phosphate group, we can generate 4 ATP, right? So that is the next step. Up to pyruvate, 1 by 1 we'll cut the phosphate group, and we will get the 4 ATP. Directly we are getting ATP, right, in the form of cash, because ATP is a directly available source of energy. We don't need to convert it into some another form. So we can call it as a cash. And here the ATP is forming, that is by the substrate level phosphorylation. NADH will enter into electron transport chain, and in the presence of oxygen ATP will generate, that is known as the oxidative phosphorylation. And this phosphorylation, where will we get the, directly we will get the ATP, that is known as a substrate level phosphorylation. Okay, oxidative phosphorylation and now substrate level phosphorylation. So 1,3-bis-phosphoglycerate will convert to 3-phosphoglycerate. That means 1 phosphate group will remove here, and enzyme involved here is phosphoglycerate kinase. Phosphoglycerate kinase. ADP will convert to ATP. Right? Now again, this is a 3-carbon compound, and phosphate group will present at the third positions. Again there is a chance that we can get one ATP molecule here. So before that, this 3-phosphoglycerate will convert to 2-phosphoglycerate, and the enzyme is phosphoglycerate mutase. Okay, so 3-phosphoglycerate will convert to 2-phosphoglycerate, which is also 3-carbon compound. Now this 3-phosphoglycerate will convert to we'll write full name, phosphoenol pyruvate. We can consider it like a squeezing reaction. After the squeezing, what will happen? Water will remove from the cloth. So same way here there is a removal of the water molecule, and the enzyme involved here is enolase. And now finally from phosphoenol pyruvate we'll get our ultimate product of glycolysis. We'll write this step very prominent. Phosphoenol pyruvate will finally get pyruvate, and the one phosphate group which was present here, so definitely there is a one more molecule of ATP will generate. ADP will convert into ATP. Okay, so both the phosphate group will be utilized here. The same way 2-phosphate group is utilized. So 1, 2, and here also we'll get the 2 ATP. So total 4 ATP we will get by substrate level phosphorylations, and the 6 ATP we will get by oxidative phosphorylation. Okay, and yeah, now very careful here. Enzyme is pyruvate kinase. All these steps, all these steps are reversible step. All steps are reversible, but this step, the conversion of phosphoenol pyruvate to pyruvate, is a irreversible step. As I already mentioned, you can see in my previous lecture that in the glycolysis process 3 steps are irreversible steps, and those steps are very important in terms of glycolysis regulations. First 2 steps we had mentioned in my previous lectures, that is the conversion of the glucose to glucose 6-phosphate and the fructose 6-phosphate to fructose 1,6-bisphosphate, these 2 steps. And the third one is here, where the phosphoenol pyruvate is converted to pyruvate, and the enzyme involved here is a pyruvate kinase. We'll see how pyruvate kinase will regulate. Before that, consider one example. If you are stuck in a traffic, and the vehicle is not moving, so very first thing what we will do, we will blow horn. So blowing a horn, that means you are giving a signal to the vehicles which are ahead, so they can move and you will get a clear path, right? So same way, the products which are behind this product, that is fructose 1,6-bisphosphate, this will give the signal to pyruvate. For example, if the lots of the glucose molecules will enter into the cells and the lots of the conversion takes place from the glucose to fructose 1,6-bisphosphate, that means there would be a traffic jam, right? So some of the molecules will come here, they will give the signal to pyruvate kinase, see lots of the glucose molecule has come, so you need to clear path, so increase your speed. So that means this will act as a positive regulator for pyruvate kinase, that is fructose 1,6-bisphosphate, that will bind to pyruvate kinase and it will enhance the activity. So this is known as a feed forward mechanisms. The compound which is behind, that is giving the signal to the enzyme which is few steps ahead, so that is known as a feed forward mechanism. Okay, one is the fructose 1,6-bisphosphate, and the second, this enzyme is also regulated via allosteric regulation. Okay, so one we had already discussed, that is fructose 1,6 bisphosphate, and the other is AMP. AMP is present, that means there must be the lack of energy, because ATP molecule will be utilized and ATP will convert to ADP and AMP. So presence of AMP, that means there is a lack of energy. So AMP molecule and fructose 1,6-bisphosphate, it will act as a positive regulator that will enhance the rate of reaction. Okay, and ATP and yes, acetyl CoA. ATP and acetyl CoA from Krebs cycle, which is the next step after glycolysis. So if enough of ATP is there and enough of the Krebs cycle is going, so one of the representative from the both step, matlab from electron transport chain will get generate ATP, and from Krebs cycle, so if enough of the Krebs cycle is running, so acetyl CoA and ATP is available. That means it will act as a negative regulator, because enough of energy is available in the cells, so we don't need the glycolysis. That means the glycolysis process will be slowed down here. So ATP and acetyl CoA will act as a negative regulator, and the fructose 1,6-bisphosphate via feed forward mechanism will act as a positive regulator along with AMP. Okay, again one more thing we had discussed, these enzymes can be regulated via hormonal regulations. If lots of the glucose molecule is present in the cell, so body will generate insulin. So insulin is the signal that lots of the glucose molecules are there. So as I already mentioned, that this insulin will also give the signals that will increase the expression of the gene. So more molecules of the pyruvate kinase will available, right? If manpower will increase, definitely the efficiency of the work will also increase. So same way, if the more number of the enzymes will available, that will also enhance the rate of reaction, that is the presence of insulin. And if this will happen when the glucose concentration is high, and if the glucose concentration is low, the name of enzyme is glucagon. Glucagon means the glucose gone. So glucose gone will suppress the activity of enzyme by reducing its production. Okay, I hope everything is clear up to this step, that is from the fructose 1,6-bisphosphate. We'll quickly revise here. Starting from the glucose will convert to glucose 6-phosphate, glucose 6-phosphate convert to fructose 6-phosphate, and fructose 6-phosphate will convert to fructose 1,6-bisphosphate, which is a 6-carbon compound, right? Now this fructose 6-phosphate, it will be break down into two products with the help of enzymes aldolase, and we'll get the glyceraldehyde 3-phosphate, which is a 3-carbon compound, and dihydroxyacetone phosphate, which is also a 3-carbon compound. But under biological conditions, dihydroxyacetone phosphate will convert to glyceraldehyde 3-phosphate, and that will undergo into the further reactions of glycolysis. Therefore, we can consider here is 2 molecules of glyceraldehyde 3-phosphate are entering into glycolysis step. So after that, glyceraldehyde 3-phosphate will convert to 1,3-bisphosphoglycerate. 1 molecule of inorganic phosphate will add here. This is aldehyde is oxidizing into acid. Therefore, if something is oxidized, someone has to reduce. So we'll get here NADH. Therefore, that means NAD will reduce to NADH plus H positive ion, and this NADH will enter into the electron transport chain, and from 1 molecule of NADH will generate 3 ATP. Okay, then 1,3-bisphosphoglycerate will convert to 3-phosphoglycerate, means 1 phosphate group will remove here. So 1 phosphate group here. So therefore, there will be the generation of 1 ATP molecule. Enzyme is phosphoglycerate kinase. Okay, then 3-phosphoglycerate will convert to 2-phosphoglycerate. Enzyme is phosphoglycerate mutase. Here phosphoglycerate kinase, here is phosphoglycerate mutase. Then 2-phosphoglycerate will convert into PEP, that is phosphoenol pyruvate. one water molecule will remove here, enzyme is enolase, and then finally the very important step will come, that is the conversion of phosphoenol pyruvate to pyruvate, which is an irreversible step. Enzyme is a pyruvate kinase, and this is the third step where the glycolysis regulation takes place, and here we will get our second ATP molecule. Okay, and how enzyme, this pyruvate kinase will regulate? First, via feed forward mechanisms. Fructose 1,6-bisphosphate will give the signal to enhance the activity of pyruvate kinase, so that will be act as a positive regulator. And the second is the adenosine monophosphate. If the cell has utilized the most of the energy, so ATP will convert to ADP and finally AMP. So presence of ADP and AMP will act as a positive regulator. Negative regulator is ATP and acetyl CoA, which will come from electron transport chain and Krebs cycle. So this will act as a negative regulator. Okay, very quickly we will see the energetics of glycolysis. How many molecule of ATP will get? We'll just write here the compound name. First is the glucose. Glucose will convert to glucose 6-phosphate, then glucose 6-phosphate convert to fructose 6-phosphate, and fructose 6-phosphate to fructose 1,6-bisphosphate. Will get, this will cut into two product, will get glyceraldehyde 3-phosphate and dihydroxy acetone phosphate. We'll write every step here. Then glyceraldehyde 3-phosphate will convert to 1,3-bisphosphoglycerate. Here also 1,3-bisphosphoglycerate. Okay, then 3-phosphoglycerate. After that 2-phosphoglycerate. Then phosphoenol pyruvate PEP, and finally pyruvate. Wait, that is from the one molecule of the glucose we'll get the 2 molecule of pyruvate via this series of the steps. Here we are looking the how many molecule of ATP will generate from the one glycolysis reaction, one complete reaction, 10 steps. From 10 steps, how many molecule of ATP will be utilized? See, here we are utilizing the one molecule of ATP. One phosphate group will attach here, so one molecule of ATP will be utilized. One more phosphate group adding here, so definitely that means another ATP. So that means 2 ATP molecules we are investing here. Okay, 2 molecule of ATP will be utilized. This is known as a preparatory phase. The first is a preparatory phase where the phosphorylation, isomerization and phosphorylation, that is the step 1. Step 2 is the splitting, where fructose 1,6-bisphosphate will cut into exactly half and we will get the 2,3 carbon compound. Okay, and the third step is this, which is known as a ATP harvesting. ATP harvesting stage. Yeah. So fructose 1,6-bisphosphate will cut into 2 dihydroxyacetone phosphate and glyceraldehyde 3-phosphate. Here we are getting 1 NADH, H positive. Here also we will get 1 NADH. Okay. Then here 1 molecule of ATP will generate via substrate level phosphorylation and 1 ATP. Same way here also 1 ATP will produce and okay. So total 1, 2, 3 and 4 4 ATP molecules we are getting directly via substrate level for phosphorylations, that is directly in the form of a cache. We can ready to use this energy. 4 ATP molecules are getting via substrate level. Okay, and we had already mentioned that this NADH will enter into electron transport chain. So from 1 NADH 3 ATP, so 2 NADH 6 ATP, that means 10 ATP. But as we had already invested 2 ATP molecule in the preparatory phase, so minus 2 ATP, that means 8 ATP molecule will generate in the single glycolysis pathway, where the one glucose molecule will convert to 2 molecules of the pyruvate. Total net ATP we'll get here is the 8 ATP molecules. And if we if we speak the more specifically, so net ATP will be, see, direct ATP we are getting 4, out of that 2 we are investing, so 4 minus 2 will be 2 ATP molecules. And if we talk about the gross ATP molecules, so that will be 8 ATP. Okay, so gross ATP that will be generated in the single glycolysis pathway will be 8 ATP molecules. Okay, I think everything is clear up to this step. In the next video lecture, we'll have the very quick review on glycolysis along with its all the chemical formula of intermediate product. Okay, if you have any doubt, you can put in the comment sections. I will be happy to solve that. Okay, thank you.